भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवते उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी. So today we are going to read from Srimad Bhagavatam, 9th Canto, 10th chapter, text 53. Nadi vyadi jara glani Nadi vyadi jara glani Dukkha shoka bhaya klama Dukkha shoka bhaya klama Mrityuschantam nasit Mrityuchaichantam nasit Rami Raja Dokshaje Rami Raja Dokshaje. Anybody from Prabhuji's side want to recite?
Nadi vyadi jaraglani
Nadi vyadi jaraglani
Dukkha shoka bhaya klama
Dukkha shoka bhaya klama
Chani chatam nasi
Mrityu chani chatam nasi
Rajana hoksaje
Rami Raja Dokshaje. Mataji. Nadi vyadi jaraglani Dukkha shoka bhaya klama Mrityu chaichatam nasi Rami Raja Dokshaje. Word by word meaning. Na Adi Adhyatmika Adibhautika and Adidevika. Sufferings, that is suffering from the body and mind, from other living entities and from nature. Vyadhi, diseases. Jara, old age. Glani, bewilderment. Dukkha, grief. Soka, lamentation. Bhaya, fear. Klama, and fatigue. Mrityu, death. Cha, also. Anichatam, of those who did not like it. Na asit, there was not. Rame, during the rule of Lord Ramachandra. Rajani, because of his being the king. Adokshaje, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is beyond this material world. Translation. When Lord Ramachandra, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, was the king of this world, all bodily and mental suffering, disease, old age, bewilderment, lamentation, distress, fear and fatigue were completely absent. There was even no death for those who did not want it. All these facilities existed because of Lord Ramachandra's presence as the king of the entire world. A similar situation could be introduced immediately, even in this age called Kali, the worst of all ages. It is said, Kali Kale Namarupe Krishna Avatar. Krishna descends in this Kali Yuga in the form of his holy name. Hare Krishna, Hare Rama. If we chant offenselessly, Rama and Krishna are still present in this age. The kingdom of Rama was immensely popular and beneficial, and the spreading of this Hare Krishna movement can immediately introduce a similar situation even in this Kali Yuga. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Padantikam Vandeham Shri Guruho Shri Yukta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Shagrajatam Shahagana Raghunatham Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Shahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vyaevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nadi Vyadi Jaraglani Dukkha Shoka Bhaya Klama Mrityuzicha Nichantam Nasi Ramiraja Dukshaje. When Lord Ramachandra, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, was the king of this world, all bodily and mental suffering, disease, old age, bereavement, lamentation, distress, fear and fatigue were completely absent. There was even no death for those who did not want it. I was seeking blessings today from all the Vaishnava. I want to speak. Actually, I'll be very much focused on today the appearance of Lord Ramachandra. So, because this is a very important topic that many people might like think that we have heard Lord Ramachandra pass them so many times. So before that, we just want to offer obeisances to Lord Ramachandra. There is a pranam mantra for Lord Ramachandra from Srimad Bhagavatam. Everyone can recite after me. Namo Brahmanya Devaya Ramaya Kuntamedase Uttama Shloka Duryaya Nastya Dandar Pitangraye. O Lord, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead who have accepted the Brahmanas as your worshipable deities. Your knowledge and memory are never disturbed by anxiety. You are the chief of all famous persons within this world, and your lotus feet are worshipped by sages who are beyond the jurisdictions of punishment. O Lord Ramachandra, let us offer our respectful obeisances unto you. So, as I was telling that Lord Ramachandra is a very famous character, right? And we have been hearing, right? We know so much about Lord, but time has changed that we used to know Lord Ram. Now we know more the electronics, the gadgets, those are actually taken over knowing Lord Ram and Krishna nowadays. And that's the situation that is happening, because either people have no idea or they're learning from the WhatsApp university, so they have no idea about Shastra. But actually Lord Ramachandra's stories are very popular. Even in Srimad Bhagavatam, when Sukadeva Goswami actually begins to describe, when he starts describing all this incarnation of the Lord, right? And when he comes to describe the appearance of the Lord, like, describing about Lord pastime of Lord Ramachandra, actually he says, very beautiful verse, where he says that, hey Rajan, you have heard this from this pastime of Lord, right? Sita Patere Muhu, for so many saints, Risibi, Tattvadarshi, you have heard about this pastime from so many saints, and you know this pastime so much already, right? So I'm not going to describe you a lot because you already know so much about this pastime. That popular he was, right? And that's why if you see in Srimad Bhagavatam only 2 chapters, very short. Lord Ram's pastime is just 2 chapters. Very shortly, briefly, actually, Sukadeva Goswami describes the Parikshit Maharaj. So, right? And that's what I'm saying. It is because time was there at the time. There was no TV, no electricity, right? And people, whenever they have time, so at the end of the day, they used to have some Ram Katha, so some Mahabharata. So Chanakya actually is beautiful verse from Chanakya Niti. It says that Prataha Duta Prasangena, right? In the morning, one should hear about gambling match. How to do gambling? Look at that, Chanakya is saying, right? Madhyane Stri Prasanga. So in the day, in the noontime, we should talk about the women's, the girls, the women here are talking about Stri Prasanga. And he said, Ratro Chaura Prasangena Kalu Gachanti Dhimata. You should spend time, and the Ratri, at night, what do you have to do? You talk about the thieves. You should you have to discuss about the thieves. Right? Very interesting. He said, this is the perfect, a wise person. He says that actually wise person spend his time like this way. In the morning he talks about gambling. In the noon he talks about the woman. And at night he talks about the thief. So it's really very deep meaning in it. So the gambling match represents Mahabharata. Right? We should actually discuss Mahabharata. So if you see the Vedic scriptures, and we have so many scriptures, the Vedas, the Puranas, and especially this Ramayana and Mahabharata is categorized as itihasas. That's the history. Even though all those are history, but sometimes Puranas are from different time period, and Ramayana itihas you can so much relate, in any time, and people can connect, and we know that's why this Mahabharata and Ramayana actually people have connected through their life. Everybody is so enchanted by Lord Ram and Lord Krishna. These are the characters actually people have imbibed, right? They are they can now in India, everybody Jai Shri Ram, right? Actually, this was even told that even in Kali Yuga, people by chanting even Ram Ram, they get delivered. Every day, Ram Ram Prabhu, Ram Ram, Ram Ram. Actually, this is the deliverance, that's the power of the name of Lord Ram. And that's why in the beginning, actually, in the purport, even Srila Prabhupada says, in the Kali Yuga, right? Kali Kali Namarupi Krishna Avatar. In Kali Yuga, the Lord takes the form of the holy name, right? Because Kali Yuga, it's a hopeless case for us. We're not a yogi, right? We can't even control the senses so much. But we have make you somehow you try to chant the holy name of the Lord, right? And that's what it is, right? So Ramayana actually means Rama, Lord Ramachandra. Ayana means his trouble, right? So we can see that throughout his life of travel, time is for us also the time pass, right? But how our time goes, our life goes, it becomes glorious, or nobody even knows about our glory, right? So that's a difference. If you see that Lord Ramachandra, every moment of his life, he shines like a gem. It's such a difficulty, right? And actually, I want to put a topic about the footstep of Lord Ramachandra, but it's going to be too much. So today I'll be more focusing on, as I was saying, the appearance of Lord Ramachandra. And maybe many of you have thought that you might have heard the story. Maybe I can do some quiz, but this is what I'm going to focus more today. But you can see that Ramayana actually shows, like, what is the value of relationships. So much. This is very interesting in Mahabharata, if you know this story, when Indradev and Arjuna was fighting, right, in the forest fire, and where Agnidev had some issue, and he really was asking to have this fire in this forest, and they had a big fight, and later by help of Krishna and Arjuna, like they were Indra was defeated, and Indra actually says to Arjuna and Krishna that I'm really very happy. Please ask the blessings. He said, Lord, Indra is saying to ask blessing to Lord Krishna, and Lord Krishna says that I want, the best friendship between Arjuna and myself. You see that? And what Arjuna asked is that I want divine weapons. So sometimes we wonder, sometimes we come into a peer pressure, he's asking my friendship, so I should also ask. It's not like that. Because it means that the relationship is very much understood. It's not that Arjuna is thinking that Krishna is going to, think in otherwise, wow, look at that, this guy is selfish, he's asking for himself. I'm asking between, benefiting from both, but it's not like that. So that's why life is about building the relationships, right? And if you see that even when Lord Ramachandra, so when Hanuman came back with a message of Sita Maharani, you know how grateful the Lord was. He says that actually, even if I take even 5 life, take birth again and again to serve you, Hanuman, I still cannot repay. This is the mood of Lord, right? So actually, if you see that sometimes when we have this attitude, even God, it may be, right? There is a need of reciprocation because everybody is looking for that kind of relationship, that sambandha. So it's not like, God is commanding you, every week, every Sunday you have to come, hafta usuli. Every Sunday you come, give darshan, barna, goli se udaunga. That is not the nature of the Lord, right? And that's what He doesn't want. He wants to build a relationship. The sambandha within prayojan is so deeply connected in our scriptures. Very, very important. And if you really miss that point, then the whole purpose of doing things, it gets lost, right? And that's why Lord Ramachandra actually trying to show us this. We should not be self-centered. Ravana, you can just see, he was so self-centered. He was ready all his family to die. His brother, when actually Kumbhakarna came and he says, my brother, I'm going to war, but I know that I'm going to die. But he says, go. But if, somebody if you love, I'm going to die, my brother, hey, don't go, it's okay, right? His son, Indrajit, also came. Same thing, right? Because of his faults, he was willing everyone to sacrifice, right? And also, Duryodhana, same thing. In Mahabharata, in the Bhagavad Gita, actually, first chapter, you can hear when he was telling Dronacharya, right? His arrogance, you have to see that how Madhati Tekta Jivita, all these people have gathered to die for my sake. But what actually have done for them? Nothing, right? This is the height. You have not done anything for that person, right? And you have that kind of mood and attitude, right? So that's why this mood of gratitude is so important. And Krishna actually, when he went as a Santi Dud in the Duryodhana place, he was invited by Duryodhana. And he interestingly says to Duryodhana that, Duryodhana, first saying I came for a different purpose, right? To eat, there has to be some kind of sambandha, relationships, right? So, you very inimical to the people I love, the Pandavas. I cannot give up them. And Arjuna is my life, he actually says, right? And you hate them. And how is it? And on top of that, why somebody goes to somebody's house to eat? So he gave two reasons. One is somebody has to be hungry with Anna, and somebody has to have love. That reciprocation has to be there. It's not there, right? So why would I have come, right? So that's why this sambandha, the developing relationship, is so important, and that's what the Ramayana actually shows. How important is relationships, and what's the difference? Ravana ready to sacrifice everyone for his pleasure. But on the other hand, the characters, Ram, Lakshman, Bharat, Shatrughan, every character, you just see them. You see they sacrifice everything just for building the deep relationships, right? So, and going before, to understand Lord Ramachandra is so difficult actually. Valmiki, it took him about 60,000 years, right, to even have a desire to understand about Lord Ram. 60,000 years only, right? Because he was a dacoit at the time, Ratnakar, right? But just a small desire, he put a pause, when Narendra was asking, whatever you're doing, all this scene, you're looting people, you're trying to, rob them, torturing them, is the scene that are you carrying, or the family that you are trying to serve, doing all this nonsense, are also going to take the scene. And that pause actually has hit him like that. So that's why a guru, this is one of the very good quality, that he exactly knows where to pinch that disciple, where it hurts. Just like Arjuna, when he was in a war, he was going, there's a fight going to happen. But when Arjuna, like you say, I want to see who are the warriors, he's supposed to take to in front of Duryodhana, so that anger grows, take in front of Dusasana. No, he doesn't do that. Krishna directly takes in front of Bhishma, Drona. Oh, you love. So you exactly know where to pinch. This is the Lord, right? And so that's why it took him about 60,000 years, and he was reciting the name. He couldn't even just imagine. He had no piety to even recite the name of Lord Ram. He couldn't even recite. Just imagine the sin he had, right? And Valmiki took 69. The whole anthill was built. That's why his name became Valmiki. Came out from the anthill, right? And after that, when we can see that how for us to understand God is so difficult. That's what Krishna says, Janma karma chami divyam evam yuviti tattvatah tektva deham punarjanma naiti mamiti sudha. Because if you understand what Krishna actually is doing, why they are appearing, what they're leaving, what the activities are, if you can understand it, you go back to Godhead, Krishna says. That's why it's actually we think we know. Why this? We think. But actually we don't know anything. It's bewilders. It bewilders everybody. That's why actually Kunti Maharani, when you see praise, right? Tatha paramaham muninam amalatmanam bhakti yoga vidarnatham katham pashyamehi striyam. I'm just a woman, my Lord. All these paramhamsas, all these yogis, siddhi, amalatmanams, they are trying to understand you. Still, they can't understand you at all. And I'm just I don't even have a bhakti. How can I understand you, my Lord? So difficult. We think sometimes we know. Actually, we don't know. Right? If we have time, I'll touch upon one of the pastime about Agni Pariksha. But this is how it is. Right? Even Vaishnavera Kriya Mudra Bhikina Mujaya. We might even thinking, forget about Lord. The Sastras, even we cannot understand the devotees. And Chaitanya Charitamrita, very beautiful verse. Yara chitte Krishna prema karaye udaya taram vakya kriya mudra vigeya bujaya. Those devotees who were surrendered to Lord were bhaktas. He says that what are they doing? Why are they doing? You cannot understand. Even devotees, forget about Lord. It's very difficult. And we think, I know this, why they look at this devotee, he's trying to do this. No, actually not. Our idea, our conception, our conditioning is so deep. Right? When Prabhupada, even so many of his disciples, sometimes misunderstood him. And it happens because it's very difficult to understand devotees. Very difficult. And we should not even try in that direction. We just need to serve. Right? So that's a mood. That's why, and because when Valmiki Ramayana, when it starts, that when he became a tapasvi after all this meditation, so he had this desire, and Narmadi came, and then he immediately asked these questions, right? Ko asmin sampratam loke. He said, who is there in this loka, right? Who is this person in this world? Gunavan, Kascha, Viryavan. Who is Gunavan? Who has all these auspicious qualities, right? And Viryavan, powerful, the most powerful person. Dharmagya kritagyascha satyavakyo dhrita vrata. Who is Dharmagya? The knower of the Dharma, right? Vedic Dharma. Kritagya, who is the filled with gratitude, right? And Satyavakya, who is always truthful person. And Dhrita vrata, firm in his vows, right? Charitrena chako yukta sarva bhuteshu kohita. Charitre chako yukta. Who is have this kind of character? Sarva bhuteshu hita. Who is always thinking good, like beneficial, benefactor of all living entities, living beings, right? Who thinks about all the living entities. Who is that? He's asking, right? Vidwan ka samarthascha kashaika priya darshana. Vidwan, who is the most intelligent, the learned man. Is Samartha, who is competent, right? And Ika priya darshana, who is so beautiful, delightful. Is so everyone is attracted. Just like Krishna, the name itself, Krishna means akarsate iti Krishna. Krishna means all attractive. And who is the one? He's asking, right? Atmavan ko jita krodho dyutiman ko nasuyataha kasya bibhyati devascha jataro shasya samyuge. And he says, who is Atmavan? Who is self-restrained, who is self-control, who has control, jita krodha, who has control over his anger. Dyutiman is endowed with splendor. Anusuyakaha, who is freed from envy. There is no envy, no tints of envy in Ram. Right? And Kashya Bibhyati Devacha Samyuge. Even the Devatas, they are fearful in the war with Lord Ram. Right? And that's why you see that, like, and then after that, Valmiki said, now you're qualified to hear. Because of your tapasya. So I am going to reveal you the story. And in the beginning, Valmiki actually, he gave a brief summary, and he said that I have heard from Lord Brahma the story of Lord Ram. Actually, he's living, and he gave about 100 verses about Lord Ram in his holy Ramayana summary to Valmiki. And you have to actually see the feeling, the heart that actually touches Valmiki so much. Actually, it's really beautiful. His psychology of Valmiki is explained after hearing Ram Katha. Very beautiful, actually. How he's seeing things, wow, calm, peaceful. He was so blissful, actually. Very blissful. So that's why, to get the time. So, and the Ramayana starts from this place, Ayodhya, right? Ayodhya means the invincible place, right? Avadi, right? Avada, cannot be killed, Vada, right? So, in Valmiki Ramayana is very beautifully described about Ayodhya, what kind of city, what kind of country it is, how it is being ruled. So beautiful description, how Dasharatha Maharaj is ruling this kingdom with dharma, right? And how people are reacting, all the varnas, the brahmanas, they're doing all their perfect, duties. The kshatriyas, they're performing, they have proper respect for the brahmanas. They're performing all this. There is no question of varna sankara. It explained, right? And very beautifully said that, like beautiful. He has very smart 8 ministers. So one of them is we know this Sumantra. So he had 8 Drishti, Jayanta, Vijaya, Surashtra, Rashtravardhana, Akopa, Dharmapala, and Sumantra, right? And they were so sharp, just by knowing the expression of the king. They exactly know what is happening. So that's why when for a ruler, right, for a king to have a right ministers who are going to guide them properly is very, very important. And on top of that, he had the main two priests. From the Dharmasastras, they can guide the king and the ministers. Right? They were the Vasishta, and there was one other rishi called Vamadev. They were the main primary Kulpurhoi. And they were other devotees, like those priests who were helping this, assisting this Vasishta and Vamadev. They were like, Kashyapa, Gautama, all these big rishis actually were assisting them. So in order to see that when to establish a right kingdom, right, you have to have a right people with the right mindset that they were purely thinking in a consciousness to serve the Lord, the king in the right way. There was no any kind of hiding, no cheating, I want to get some benefits, not like that. Purely in that psychology. And Lord Ramachandra, before even appearing, the Devatas actually goes and pray to Lord Brahma. Right? So, after Ravana getting the blessing from Brahma, what kind of havoc he was creating. How many rapes he did. So many rapes. He had, it is said that, the Ravana's destruction is because of the curses he have received. So many curses. So that's why in life, one should always try to cultivate blessings. Curses will always destroy you. No matter how great you are, no matter how much powerful you are, how much, whatever you might have done, you will be destroyed by time. Very, very powerful. And this is the situation that happened to Ravana, right? Everything he had, right? Just like Hiranyakashipu, everything he had, everyone is in his control actually. But still, his son bothered him so much. He was ready to kill him. And he was creating so much impiety in him and became the cause of his death. Right? And that's why, because of the madness, from the power of Lord Brahma, Ravana was acting crazy. Really acting crazy. He started and they were requesting, please, Lord Brahma, please find some solution. And then Lord Brahma says that, this Ravana was so arrogant. When asking for blessing that I should not be killed by the Yakshas, Gandharvas, Devas, gods, demons. And he just neglected this tucha, like manav, monkeys, bears, he didn't even bother about them. So he said that he should be killed by the man. That is the best method to kill him. So at a time when we were discussing this, Lord Vishnu comes, and Lord Vishnu actually says that you all go as a different form of monkey. I'm also going to appear. And they actually request that Dashrath Maharaj is actually a very pious king, and she has been three primary queen, right? Sumitra, Kaikai, and Kaushalya. And they say that actually the three wives resemble Ri, the modesty, Sri, auspiciousness, and Kirti, the fame, right? So this is what happens. But sometimes what happens is that when we have power, we're supposed to bring with responsibility, right? But what happens? It just becomes opposite. We have power, we have influence, we try to misuse it. We want to exploit people, right? We want to control. That becomes our situation, and that becomes the cause of destruction. The Devas actually say that even the sun is afraid to produce his heat. Radha Shyam Sundar ki jai, my Thai ki jai, right? So that's why Krishna appears when all these things happen. Yada yada dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyutthanam dharmasya tadatmanam sasamyam paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha duskritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. And sometimes, now in Ayodhya, everything is there. The opulence, the wonderful kingdom, all the praja. But something lacks in our life. Right? Something. कोई तन से दुखी, कोई मन से दुखी, कोई धन बिना उदास, थोड़ा थोड़ा सब दुखी, सुखी शाम का दास. Something makes us unhappy. You might be so rich, filthy rich, but I don't have a beauty. थोड़ा सुंदर बना लेते भगवान, क्या जाता उसका. अच्छे परिवार में जन्म दिए, बहुत खानदान परिवार में जन्म दिए, पैसा, शौहरत सब कुछ है, but no beauty. अरे गलत हो गया भगवान. You know, बटन दबाने में कहीं गलती हो गया. Something happened. Same thing happened to Dhritarashtra. He had no son, right? And always we see that, like, you know, we want to continue the legacy. As a king, definitely that is the right concern, right? Who is going to take care of the kingdom? So with his desire, actually, he had a desire to do Aswamedh Yajna. And he called all his ministers and say he had this desire. And the ministers invited all the saints, Vasishta and all those, Rishi Gautama, all those rishis, and they discussed and Dasarma revealed his heart. This is what he's thinking. And they actually was very happy. He said, Dasharatha Maharaj, this is a very positive feeling you are having. Right? It's a right feeling. And this is going to definitely happen. So we can arrange for the Aswamedh Yajna. Then at the time, Sumitra actually tells a story of Rishi Singha. So he says that, like, you know, there's a son of Kashyap Muni. He has a son called Vibhandaka. So he has a son called Rishi Singha, who is a brahmachari. And he stays with his father. He has never seen any single person in the world till date. Never ever. At the time, I was telling a story. This is the story told by one of the folk Kumaras telling this story about this Rishi Singha. And he had never seen people except his father. And Sumitra is telling the story that I've heard this story. And one day, in one kingdom, this king of Romapada, he somehow did some wrong, a dharmic thing. And that has caused a big calamity in the kingdom. There was a drought. It was a big issue. It was such a problem. And then the king was worried what to do. So they suggested, like, you know, the sage, like, you know, I think there is a saint called this Rishi Singha. He's such a powerful auspicious. Even he steps in our kingdom. And Romapada was a king of Anga. And he even steps our kingdom, all the auspiciousness will come. So then king said, how to bring him? We have to think some plan. And he says, he told all the priests, you know, can you go? Bring. And they rejected the king because they were afraid of Deva Bhandaka. They might get cursed, you know. So everybody was afraid. So what to do? So they planned to send the prostitutes there. So where Rishi Singha was doing his nearby this ashram, so the beautiful prostitutes were staying. They were playing around nearby, and Rishi Singha saw them. And all these beautiful ladies asking them the question, who are you? Right? What are you doing here? And he was telling, you know, this is my father, like, and I have my hermitage is nearby, would you like to come? And when they saw, actually, he was like delighted. Never saw people. I think you are worshipable people, he says. And actually he takes them, they goes, invite them to his ashram, and with the arghya, with the flower, he actually worship all these ladies. And after all this, like getting all the fruits and offerings they were given, and all these women also gave them sweets, beautified items and offerings he had never seen and tasted. And just tasted these fruits and everything was like, so, wow, what is this? It's amazing. And all this lady, because of this father, they ran away from there. We'll see sometime. But he could not take this out of his mind. There's something, and they were waiting, and next day again, these ladies, they came. And Rishi Singha, oh, you also want to come to our place, hermitage? We can take you there. And then that's why he followed. And the moment they stayed in the kingdom of Anga, it started raining. And all the king actually, the saint actually has requested you marry your daughter to her, the Santa. Actually, Santa, who is Santa? Actually, is a daughter of Dasharath. So Sumitra says, actually, he's the son-in-law. You invite him. Rishishinga actually is a son-in-law because actually he, just like Kunti Maharani was daughter of Surasen, right? And was adopted by Kunti Bros. That's why Kunti Maharani's name is Pritha, right? So we have Gokupriya Mataji, Pritha Mataji. So then actually same thing. It was adopted, so her name became Kunti. And the same way Santa was adopted by King Romapada. They got married, and that's why, Dasaratha Maharaj was happy. Now let's go, invite. So they went to Anga and invited Rishishinga. And it took about 1 year to make an arrangement to do the Yasomedigi. You see that how, even for the king, it took about a year to make all the arrangements to do Yasomedigi. And also Yajna was performed. And he actually, it's a very long story where Dasaratha Maharaj donated all the kingdom, all the earth planet, for the rishis and everything. So many things happened. Then later, after all the Aswamedhika is very completely completed, with success, then Dasaratha Maharaj actually goes to Rishisingha and he says that, if you can bless me with the son, and he said that definitely the king, you will have 4 sons, and for that I will perform Putra Kamishti Yajna. So actually there were 2 yajnas being performed to have the 4 sons. So you can see that, that after that, the Putra Kamishti Yajna is done. Right? And when the Putra Kamishti Yajna was done, the Yajna Purush appeared, in a beautiful golden pot with a beautiful divine sweet rice, with a silver lid was covered, and told that, I, representing Prajapati, Lord Brahma, I am coming, I came here, and you can give to this, whoever is qualified wife, if you feed this, they will be given children. How happy Dasaratha Maharaj should be. He's very happy, and he gave half of the sweet rice to Kausalya, and half, the 1/4 to Sumitra, and half to Kaikai, and again the remaining half we again gave to Sumitra. This is how I explain in Valmiki, right? And after that, beautiful children appeared. And just imagine when you can even think about, to make Lord appear, how difficult it is. How difficult it is. Even Prabhupada, to bring Krishna in our life, how difficult, what kind of struggle he went through. At age of 70, coming with 2 heart attacks. We are here today, staying and hearing Ram Katha, learning about Krishna pastime, trying to learn some scriptures. This is all blessing of Prabhupada. But it just did not come just like that. Somebody has worked hard, somebody has sacrificed. That's why tapasya is so much important. Even Lord Brahma, when he appeared in the lotus of the Lord Vishnu in the beginning, everything was dark. The only word he heard, first word was tapa. That's why without austerity, everybody is doing austerity. You're doing austerity for Maya or doing austerity for Krishna. That's the only difference. So tapasya is so important. When Krishna appeared, you can see it was not easy too. The Vasudev, you see what he had to go through, going out of the prison house, taking, how fearful it might be, crossing the Yamuna, it's not easy, that's why. So in the same way, how much Dasaratha Maharaj went through just to invite Lord Ram, right? And that's actually a lesson for us, that bringing Krishna in our life actually is not easy. And if we have that opportunity, please do not lose it. You have to sacrifice, definitely. It's not easy, we know that. And that time and time it has been taught, we have seen that without sacrifice, nothing you can achieve. Even you want to do something in your college, your career, you have to sacrifice. You like to play all day, right? Especially the kids all the time playing. But you need sacrifice. You have to sacrifice time to understand, right? So that's how it is, right? So that Devaki and Vasudev, how much they sacrifice to invite the Lord, right? In the same way, this sacrifice is required. And all the demigods, assisting, in this pastime. So the time is very less. I don't know if I want to touch upon this concept. So actually, Lord Ram, his whole life, actually, he ruled and he followed this principle he had learned in the beginning of his life. And when killing Tadka, just want to jump. So what happens is that, he's a woman. How can I kill? It's like, Krishna, when he Putana, he had to kill, oh no, he had to close the eyes. It's a woman, And there's a beautiful instruction that Vishwamitra gives to Lord Ram. And he actually followed this entire life. That's why you see whatever Lord Ramachandra does in his life is based on this principle. Right? So he says, Nahi te stri vada krite grina karya narottama chaturvarnya hitarthaya kartavyam rajasununa. He says, Nahi te stri vada krite grina karya narottama. Hey Narottam, killing the stri, the woman, is not a hateful thing. Why are you being like that? He says, Chaturvarna hitarthaya, for the benefit of Chaturvarna, the four varna, to make a perfect society. He said that Kartavyam Raja Sununa. Sununa means actually a son. You're a prince, son of a king. And that is a duty you have to do. He said, Nirsisam, he says, Nirsisam sam Anisisam va prajarakshana karanat patakam va sadosam va kartavyam rakshata sata. He says that it is cruel. Nirsisam, Anisisam. Either it is a cruel or not cruel. He said, prajarakshana karan. You don't have to see, this is so cruel to do. No. That's for the benefit of praja. To protect your praja, you don't see this is cruelty. You have to do it. Patakam va sadosham va kartavyam rakshata sata. He says that, it is sin or is it sadosam. It's not a sin. You don't see in a faulty way. This is a faulty thing to do it. He says no, kartavyam, because that's your duty. Kartavyam rakshita sata, right? It's a virtue of a person to do proper dharma, right? And Raja Bhara Nyuktanam Esha Dharma Sanatana, right? So that is a duty, because of that Raja Bhara, you have this responsibility appointed, because that burden is given to you as a prince, right? You have to do it, right? For you, everything is adharma, except doing this, he says, right? So there is no better dharma for you, he says. Dharmo hasya na vidyate. There is no better dharma than this, right? And you see that one of the painful thing that people have realized when Agni Pariksha that happened, right? Why Lord Ramachandra, after in the Yuddha Kanda, after become victorious, and Sita Maharani comes, but Lord Ramachandra did not even show happiness on his face. And he says that actually, Sita, I fought this war for the sake of the dynasty, for their, like, izzat, what is that called in English? The honor of my family, and I've done that. And you can go wherever you want. Even you want to under protection of Lakshman, Bharat, you can go anywhere you want. And Sita Maharani, you can just see, your loved one, just saying this like that. Why? Right? So this is that's why I put this story. I don't want to touch. We don't have time, but it's very deep actually. Why Lord Ramachandra said that? And actually, Sita Maharani says, like, my Lord, like, there is no any fault on me. And to prove that, the Agni Pariksha happens and actually calls Agnidev that, like, if I, in any thought, even I have desired, even a thought was there, except Lord Ramachandra, and I'm pure, right? Please protect me. Protect my laws. Otherwise, destroy me. Right? And it goes to Agnidev. Actually, all the demigods come at a time. Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, everybody, Lord Ram. You're not a human. He says, you're Lord Vishnu. This is pure. Everybody says. But Lord, I don't know who am I. You might be saying this, that, but like, at a time Agnidev comes and this. But why actually Lord Ramachandra did that? Because we have to understand that they were not ordinary people. They have a public life. When you are a public life, you're a certain position. The clarity, the purity, there should be no dark. You have to be clean chipped. Right? Even Lord Ram might accept her. Right? What happens? History is going to talk that Lord Ramachandra was lusty. Right? Plus, they will also talk ill about Sita Maharani. Because the history of Ravana. How many ladies he have raped? So many. And we might even thinking Ravana was a hero. Even there's in WhatsApp University, there was a story going on that one lady was pregnant. And her mother asked her, what kind of son you want? You want like Lord Ram? Right? We should have a son like Lord Ram. No, I want son like Ravana. Look at this Ram. The Agni Pariksha, he couldn't even protect his wife. I'd rather have a husband, a son like Ravana, who fought everything in the sake of his sister, because he had one daughter. But they have no understanding of the Vedic scriptures. Because Ravana is actually his minister was telling him, Ravan, what are you doing? Why are you keeping Sita just like that? Rape her. I want to do it, but I have a curse. Yeah. That's why I'm not doing it. Because he had raped Kubera's. Everybody actually cursed. Kubera is actually even kind of a daughter for him. He raped her. And she cursed that if you try to rape any other woman from now, your head will blast. You will die immediately. That's why he was holding. And everybody think, oh, look at that. Even he brought him in Lanka, he didn't even touch her. He said, oh, so nice, Ravana. Right? We don't know his character. And that's what it is. And you see the love that Lord Ramachandra has. Many times if we read Valmiki, Surga apina ruchete. So many times actually he says, without you, Sita, even the heaven is not blissful for me. Right? And I know after the Pariksha, she says that like, I know that you're pure. Right? And just imagine why Sita, why woman has to always go through. But now you see on the side of Lord Ram, when Hanuman came to search Sita, right? What happened? She told Sita, let's go, I'll take you. But what she was thinking? What will happen to my husband? His name. He will be defamed. You got my point? Bacha nahi paya. For that sake, you see that they know actually each other very nicely. It's actually in Valmiki Ramayana, this is Hridayam Hridayam. They don't even have to speak. By heart, they could understand. That kind of connection and love they had. Right? And by knowing this actually, Mother Sita actually tells Hanuman, Right? He actually gives so many reasons, like, demons can attack, I can fall down, so many things he tells. But one of the reasons, she says that, because if you take, then what will happen? Because everybody will say wrong, ill about my husband. Right? He couldn't do. देखो कुछ नहीं कर पाया. सहारा किसी के सहारे से. No. Now, just to do that, to put that into how much difficult for Lord Ram. Lord Ram alone, with Ram and Lakshman, as Sita knows, the Dasharatha army is not there, right? And you know how Ravana was powerful. How powerful is Ravana? And now you're putting everything on Lord Ram that you have to kill Ravana. So see, like, all is where you have to just imagine the thing Lord Ram has to do to protect Sita, to have Sita back. It's so much responsibility. You see on both sides. There is a big responsibility on both sides. And actually for Ram, much more difficult task. Single-handedly has to do so much. Right? So it's very, very beautiful to see these characters. Right? How they connect, they understand each other. That's what responsibility is all about. Right? That's why the importance of bringing Ram in our life, his appearance is so important for all of us, for generation to come, right? That teaches us this character, how we have to stick with the principle of dharma, right? So, with that, I'd like to thank you everyone for taking some longer time. Hare Krishna. Ramachandra Bhagwan ki jai.